Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2023 Lucid Air Touring. Below me are two electric motors, as well as a single-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Lucid for many reasons, but the fact is, Lucid has only been on the market for about a year and a half at the time of making this video. 2022 was their first model year, and so it's always so exciting to be on the cutting edge of technology and the cutting edge of cars. And so today we're going to see how the Lucid Air stacks up. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that all-electric drivetrain. Well, there's a couple different offerings here for the Lucid Air. This is the dual motor setup, which gets you 620 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. That is quite the quick car. Now, you can also get a tri-motor setup in the really high trim levels, but that is reserved for the performance vehicles. EV range? Very, very good. The EPA estimate is about 425 miles, which is fantastic, especially in this segment. But you do have to remember this is going to be an over $100,000 car, so they are going to give you the good stuff. So because it is dual motor, it is all-wheel drive. The single motor Lucid Airs will be rear-wheel drive, and of course the tri-motor is all-wheel drive as well. So how does it feel to actually drive the Lucid Air? It's quiet, it's calm, it's collected. We do have several different drive modes, and there is a sort of luxury waftiness to the car. And we'll talk about that with the exterior because that really reintroduces that idea as well. But overall, I'm a big, big fan of the driving experience. So that's stuff out of the way. Let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a 34-inch display going left to right. So directly in front of me, this is my gauge cluster, my speedometer, gears, that sort of thing. The left section of the screen is for my headlights, my charge, my trunk release, things that you would normally find on buttons. They've just adapted to a screen. Then off to the right is the radio, which we'll talk about in a second. The steering wheel is very, very interesting. I do have these selectors on the steering wheel, sort of forward facing, and then I have these nice buttons for my cruise control, skip track, voice commands, but it's very, very futuristic in here, which is really, really fun to see. Off to the left, below that screen we already talked about, we do have a climate control vent and this really nice material on the dash. Love the feel of that. And then moving on to the door, we have our power windows. Power windows work as usual. Nothing really crazy there. But if you double click the rear windows, it will actually bring the sunshades up on the side. So if the window's already up, you hit the up button again, it will actually bring up rear sunshades, which is a cool little touch. Moving into the center, we do have the center infotainment screen. This is just for your media, so navigation, phone, music, all of that is ran right here through this little screen. And the backup camera is also found here. This is what the backup camera looks like if you're curious. Then we have two climate control vents. Our climate controls, which actually are semi-physical, so I can adjust temperature and fan speed with physical buttons, which I really, really like to see. And it is dual zone, so the passenger actually gets their own fan speed. A lot of cars do dual zone climate. You can adjust the temperature, but not the fan speed. Very, very rare to see. Then we have this screen that actually comes out of the dash in a really, really incredibly cool way. Love that. And this is where I have all of my settings, my selectors. I can go down to here and trigger my 3 different drive modes, which is smooth, swift, and sprint. I can open up the glove box, steering wheel, mirrors, brightness. All of the settings I'm gonna run through here are ran right here for the Lucid Air. And I have to say the UI is actually very, very good. It's very easy to use, and I love to see that. I do have a 360 camera I can also toggle on and off, and then just real quick, we'll go to openings. I can open the charge port, trunk, frunk, and rear shades. The seats, I can adjust the height, recline, cushion, lumbar support, thigh support, power forward and back, and I can save it to a profile. I can also do my theme, so I can change the color theme in here. I can go to my charging, see how much charge I left, or start my preconditioning. I can come down here and have a ton more climate controls if I would like. If I would like to fine-tune what sort of climate controls I want, I can do that here. Vehicle, like I said, that's going to be our drive modes. Settings, all of the vehicle vehicle settings. Then of course my parking sensors on and off. Then we do have cup holders. So for the first time in recorded history, we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Lucid Air. And unfortunately, it fails. I didn't expect it to pass, but that is the first ever test in a Lucid. Then we do have some storage containers, some cubbies, and in the center console, you do get a little tray with a little bear on it. I kind of like that. The seats are highly adjustable, very, very comfortable as well, and I'm a big fan of them. Heated and cooled, power and memory as well, all of the things that you'd want from a modern luxury vehicle. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2023 Lucid Air Touring, and there is so much legroom. I might start renting this out to some friends. My knees have almost a full foot before hitting the seat in front of me. This is a luxury sedan, and it certainly feels like one. Down below, I do have a touchscreen for my sunshades, so I can raise and lower my sunshades, which is pretty flippin' neat. I also have heated seats back here and a little pop-out storage bin. I can also pull this center console down, and I have two cup holders and some storage back here as well. I also have vents, not only in the B pillars, but actually in the floor as well, which is really, really nice to see. Overall, this back seat is probably the most luxurious, most comfiest back seat in terms of space that I've almost ridden in to date. And that is really fun to see. Speaking of space, however, let's hop out. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so we're on the back of the Lucid Air, and there's a button down here. And the whole back end comes up. Such a cool, just aesthetic trunk. But once we are back here, we can pull this up. We do have some jacks and tools and stuff like that because this is at the Road America Rally. And trunk space is very wide, but not very tall or deep. So suitcases are gonna fit in here fine, but if you wanna move a treadmill, you might wanna look elsewhere, which I don't think is much of an issue. Push the button here, and it power folds down just like that. Such a cool look for the Lucid. We also do have a Frunk, of course, a front trunk, which is pretty characteristic of EVs because they don't have to have a big, stupid, dumb combustion engine up front, and this is the size of it. You can make your own judgment calls there. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I really, really love the look of the Lucid Air. I think it looks fantastic, and it really reminds me of cars from the end of the 1930s, like Chrysler Airflow concepts, things like that. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's the trunk sort of has this clamshell. Maybe it's just this classy appeal, but it makes me want to go to a gala, you know? It makes me want to drive into New York City and see the show. You know, like, that's how I feel, and I love retrofuturism. It's one of my favorite art styles and concept styles of retrofuturism, so I'm very, very excited to see that implemented here in the Lucid Air. But with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving a Lucid Air? Well, this isn't my first time sitting in one. I sat in one back in Miami's Brickell district back in 2021. Lucid is using the store concept where they won't have Lucid dealers, but you can actually go in and spec out your Lucid and order it to the store. It's going to be a very personal experience, and I got to have that experience in Miami not too long ago. Lucid actually has been around since 2007. They originally manufactured batteries and drivetrains for other electric cars and other brands. But in 2016, they adapted the name Lucid with their plan to roll out these vehicles, of which this was announced in 2016 but didn't hit production until 2021 for the 2022 model year. And so how do I feel? What is my shooting cars consensus on the Lucid Air? Is it good? Is it bad? What do I need to know? From a glance, from the experience I've had, I've actually really enjoyed it. There's a couple of startup issues that you'll have with the car. That's fine. Lucid is still getting its foothold in the market. There's still some bugs that need to be worked out. show me an electric car without bugs, and I will show you a pig doing a barrel roll. So getting beyond that, I think they do a lot of things really well. The materials and interior feels very, very classy, which I was a little worried about. The folks at Tesla across the table from Lucid, they're a little too minimalist. I was worried that was going to be the case here, but it's actually not. It actually does have nice styling to it, and these materials really make me feel nice. I love the look of it. The only tough thing to swallow is the price tag. Lucids are going to be restrained to the upper class, to those who can't afford it. But if you can afford it, you are going to get a pretty pleasurable experience. Overall, I'm really happy, and I was so excited to get behind the wheel, even though it was just for a little bit, of the Lucid Air. This thing is fantastic. It's really cool to be on the forefront of it, and I'm happy to be bringing you this car today. Huge thank you to G Schmidt, the Midwestern Automotive Media Association, and of course Lucid for making this video possible. They are awesome. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.